Good evening, everybody. My name's Zito, and I am here for another match for ESEA Advanced Season 33. This time we have two really heavy hitters in the league, Faint Gaming versus Polar Ace South, to start things off. Now, Faint Gaming have gotten off to a pretty incredible start. I believe there's something like 9-1 in the season. While Faint Gaming, there are no slashes either. They're, I think, either 6-2 or 7-2. And if they're not 7-2 right now, then they sure as hell want to try to make that record happen. But Faint Gaming are no slouch, and they are definitely going to go ahead and try to bring their best game to the table. Polar Ace South on the opposing side has Tacitus, Figment, the newcomer Viz, Aura, and Swan. Now Viz actually replaced AB, who was actually one of those players that I had very high hopes for. And I felt like did incredible on Polar Ace South, but let's see if Viz can live up to the action. It all starts off on this pistol here, and Faint Gaming are trying to fake over towards B, but then just rushing out towards A. Tacitus has made note of it, but chooses not to take any kills just yet. Knows that Faint Gaming are inevitably going to push into him. And speaking of pushes, Polar Ace actually end up pushing Vec and taking him down. The retake effort will begin, but Brian 2K will start things off on a fantastic note for the T side, picking up 2 kills. Upgrading to a USP and looking to strike more terror into the hearts of the counter-terrorists. Still trying to make this retake happen, but there are no kits in play, which makes it so difficult for the CT side. KMZ, couple pot shots through with a nice response from Figment, who actually finds a double, and Swan as well. He's going to be able to pick up 1. But again, those kits coming into play make it an impossible win for Polar Ace South, and thanks to the miracle play of Brian 2K as well as everybody else getting in the picture, that will allow Faint Gaming to pick up the pistol. It's really something like that where not choosing to buy a kit or something can really come back to bite you. It's something that you see a lot of teams do, advanced MDL, even a couple of pro teams. That's common across the pro level, but still not unheard of. It's a close loss, but an unfortunate one nonetheless, and Polar Ace South will still choose to try to buy into this one here and break the economy of Faint Gaming early on here. Or at least break it as much as you can. It's the T-side eco after all. Speaking of broken economy, a trade out from both sides. This does definitely favor Faint Gaming, as they're just going to be storming into the B site. Will quickly be able to take it over. KMZ, he's going to add another one to the tally for Faint Gaming, and 4-on-3 we go. Not too far into the round either. It means that Faint Gaming are most definitely the front runners to take this one away. The bomb is being stowed over towards B. KMZ not looking over towards Connector, actually could fall to Figment. Indeed he does. Now over at A, meanwhile, Viz is able to find one with CZ. So Polar Ace South, surprisingly, they're making this one pretty bloody. But even if they don't get anything from here on out, which it can be a tough ask considering they're going to be going up against AK-47s, this is still a round that Polar Ace South can be proud of. But they're going to try their best effort at it. Again, they have to move quick. No kits available to work with here, and no lives able to work with either. Makes it that Viz has to save the MAC-10 for a rainy day. It was looking up and up. But Faint Gaming are going to be able to run away with the anti-eco at the end of the day. Putting them up on 2. Another pretty solid start for Faint. I mean, again, that was scary for a moment. It was a 3 versus 2, and if Polar Ace South managed to trade out the player on Cat, it could have been easily a 2-on-2, or 2-on-1, excuse me. And then from there, I mean, I guess it's just a matter of the time. Either way, though, it's not meant to be. Faint Gaming, with 2 in a row, look to make it 3, and they just might book their ticket there. Not much to work with on the side of Polar Ace South. They're going to be stacking 4 players over at B. Viz all alone at A. Has to deal against a massive terrorist that all want his blood, and that's the only line of defense at A, already withered away. Pistol Stack has found a single kill though. Vec drops his AK, and that means that Aura can save it. Although he's on borrowed time. 60 will go ahead and just make sure no crazy saving action happens, but even he falls as well. So that also gives the CTs 2 rifles now to play with, or well, 1 rifle, 1 MAC-10 to play with. Either way, I don't think Faint Gaming can really be unhappy with how this round is going out for them. They lose 2 guns, but they surely can find another onto Polar Ace South, or Even one more, too. Figment dares peep his head. All in all, another solid one from Fink Gaming. We'll put them up on 3. As expected, the anti-eco rounds go perfectly for them. Even Tacitus will have an AK-47 to call his, which means that they can get an AWP and play Polar Ace. That would actually be a really good adjustment. Maybe having it over towards window. Maybe they just don't want to bring it out whatsoever. I don't see any buys up for it just yet. I see, there we are. Swan will pick it up at the end of the day. And now the question is, where does he end up going with this one? Yo, what's up, 4-pack? Oh, it's good to see some good CS players just infesting my chat right now. Feels good, man. 3-0. Fink Gaming with the exact start that they wanted. Oh, heck. Did stream die? It's still working on my end. I don't know why stream just died. It should be working, though. My bitrate seems fine. And everything seems fine for Fink Gaming as they're going up cat as well. Trade from KMZ and another one surely to go out for the CT side. Somehow Vec is alive throughout all of this, and Polar Ace South can't quite get a foothold on the round. Every attempt that they have, their grip slips away, and it's a 3-on-5, a 2-on-5. Just with a matter of time. The only kill that comes through from onto Fink Gaming. Wait for a moment. Aura actually just suddenly showed up with 2. What is that? I thought this was going to be a foregone conclusion for Polar Ace South just to count them out of this one here, but Aura finding a double out of nowhere. Wait a second. There's actually a real shot that Polar Ace South can make this work. Bomb will get planted, so they'll at least force the issue versus Polar. But Fink Gaming, this is not exactly the easiest post plant for them to work with. Powers will make it a lot more easy, taking down Aura, assassinating 2 of their teammates. And won't quite be able to double up. Viz somehow trades it out, but he's low on HP. Same story with Vec. But the AWP can always one him up, and Fink Gaming won't falter and keep up their momentum. Now 4 in a row. Money is just flowing through their wallets at the moment for the T side. It's not kind of sentiment I can echo for Polar Ace South, though. They are really hurting on cash. Thanks to that saved rifle from a couple of rounds back, Tacitus will be able to use the sniper to try to cause some chaos at mid, but Fink Gaming are gonna easily be able to take care of it. No problem. That was pretty much the only, road stop for Polar Ace South to worry about, or for Fink Gaming, excuse me, to worry about here, and although the CZ75 seems to be doing more of the action, an AWP kill will also come through, and despite their best efforts, Polar Ace South are just losing this trade battle. Not much time. How did that shot miss? What? That seemed dead on. Wishing on a lucky star. Viz will just barely get away with his life. I have no clue how that managed to work out, but because of that, living for another day, Viz and Swan look to try to drag this back into their favor. Fink Gaming want absolutely none of it, though, executing fully onto the A site, setting down smokes to make the site ever more palatable for them. Makes it that Polar Ace South, they're just going to go ahead and save their guns. The few chances that they had to make this round work have kind of slipped through the cracks and might even be whittled away even more. 60 going down does hurt the economy a little bit of Fink Gaming, but really, I mean, do they have to worry at all? Fink have so much money in their pockets. Might not look like it, but once that bomb detonates, they'll easily be able to buy up even more. Take a look at Powers as well, 3250 before the bomb even goes off. Exit frags for days for Polar Ace, but it's not a round win, which is definitely what they need right now, because they're going down 0-5. And the Teeth have no sign of stopping. This is their next really good shot at doing it, though. A full gun round in play from the side of Polar Ace South. Could definitely put them on a nice track to victory. I guess the matter is, do they want to bring an AWP over towards mid? As you can see, there's not much focus for it. Although Vec just immediately pushing up towards cat, has no worry of window. Realizes it's clear, but they aren't ready for Swan. His real location is elsewhere. And he punches the ticket Vec to make his way into hell. And it's a 4 versus 5. Finally, Polar Ace South have some sort of advantage. It takes 6 rounds to get it going, but maybe they have a decent shot at this one now. Still tons of utility for Fink Gaming to work with here. Plus that, man, advantage. I wasn't going to say it was solidly in their favor just yet, but now most definitely is. Swan with a double, looking to make it even 3. Might be able to exceed the expectations, but Brian goes ahead and does the job for him. A quick trade on through. Gives Fink Gaming just a little bit more of a chance. Brian 2K entering up through Cat could also find another one onto Aura, and that's actually huge. Just gives the frag away. Now Fink Gaming are right back in this one, even more so now as KMZ is able to find one with an AWP as well. And just like that, a 3 versus 5 turned into a 2-on-3. How do Polar Ace South let this one slip away? Because now, the money again, although they have the full loss bonus coming through, it's not enough to really justify going for a kill or a retake like this. And because of that, Fink Gaming are going to be able to make it to 6 now. That was just the perfect opportunity for Polar Ace as well. I mean, the CTs had every single, opportunity in their hands right there. The scenario was perfect. It was a 3-on-5. They had a lot of, good map control. They had the A site completely locked down. The only question mark really was that they didn't have any mid control, but they've been giving that up every single round so far. I guess the real question is that really needed? Is that what Polar Ace South really need to get their head in the game? Because right now they are totally out of it. Double AWP comes through, excuse me. Pause as well for the CT side. But right now, I mean, Fink Gaming are just breezing through this one. They're not struggling. Nor they even have to. Everything is going their way. All the kills, all the rounds, all these duels. I mean, think about that last one. Swan finds 2 with an AWP, but then tries a bit hungry to look for the third onto Brian 2K and just immediately one tap down. It's stuff like that that really can hurt you down the line. Luckily, the money doesn't exactly echo that same painful sentiment. They will be able to afford all the good artillery to have a fighting chance in round 7. My cat finally got off the keyboard, which is nice. She was just completely invading my keyboard, which is always fun. Tacitus with an incredibly slow rollout to mid. This is going to be now tough for him to actually realistically contest with it. Luckily, though, back in 60, we'll just go ahead and try to force the issue themselves. Already pushing up towards Catwalk again. However, Viz waiting in ladder room has a decent shot at shutting this down. Surely it's going to be checked by Feint, though. 60 isn't watching for it, and that's just a free kill granted to Viz. Why isn't 60 checking there? Hindsight is 20/20, I suppose. But that is exactly another perfect opportunity, the key to victory for Polar Ace. Now forcing the issue a bit. Fink Gaming now rotate around, try to even up this newfound man disadvantage, trying to trade the favor. But Viz stays alive. Oh, but he's on borrowed time. That nade marks him for death. All things considered, though, it's a solid state for Polar Ace to be in. They still can take this anywhere. KMZ has a chance to really be the brutalizer here, though, or maybe it's Swan who's the real brutalizer here. Takes down Powers. Wants to try to get a double, but the ramp player can't quite get it done, leaving it all up to Swan, at least until those rotates come through. Swan won't force his hand. He knows how dangerous some of these players on Fink can be. And although the bomb is placed, Fink Gaming, they still are at a man disadvantage here. Polar Ace South can just kind of pincer them. So he'll have to be coming in through jungle and connector. Good nade onto Brian 2K, tags him down, and another tag comes through with M4 as well, excuse me. Traded out by Aura at the end of the day, but Fink Gaming are staying alive for so long here. Again, there's only 2 kits in play. That bomb is starting to become very far ticked, and KMZ keeps getting the kills. Not quite the second that he needs, but Brian 2K can just outlast and outmaneuver the CTs. I thought the spray was going to be on, but apparently not, and finally, Polar Ace are going to be able to get their first on the board, but that was a bit shaky at best. He should be back in it soon. I don't know why my stream just keeps dying, but I mean, it still says we have live uptime. But back into the action we go. Swan is now feeling himself. A great start to the game despite his team's lackluster performance so far. He's going to be able to make it 9 immediately. Ara, though, traded right out. Back into a 4-on-4 we go. Conga line of Terrace over towards B at the moment. Finally, they have second judgment and choose to bring it elsewhere, but the rotates have already come through. Tacitus realizes it's a bit ambitious and will make his way over towards A, but the timing is perfect for Vec to find at least one kill. Oh my lord, no, he's just going to do it to Tacitus. Crouching spray, hidden tiger, whatever you want to say. It's another even Stevens trade. Right back into this. 3-on-3, Fink Gaming will be executing out onto the A site, but there's no CTs left to greet them, and although Figment will find the kill, the map control still belongs to Fink Gaming, and another bomb plant again belongs to Fink Gaming. Every single time it feels like they've been able to get these bomb downs and at least put themselves in a confident post-plant scenario. Oh lord, KMZ looks away at just the wrong time, but luckily the repeak, at least it was good for info. He doesn't die either, which means that Powers can be perfect on the crossfire as well. Indeed, he is. He doesn't miss his opportunity. He finds a double. Wants to make it 2. Wants to make it 3. It'll be Fink Gaming to make it 7. The crossfire is perfect, and Fink Gaming are just easily able to run away with that one, really. All coming from the same direction. Basically funneling themselves into the crosshairs. I'll make it a nice clean 7 for Fink Gaming. A pretty dominant performance so far on Mirage. As they look to improve it even more so. Oh, over towards Cat seems to be the play at the moment here. You have a player lurking through underpass who might not be ready for it, but 60 always seems to be good on his shots. However, a 1 versus 4 up against pistols. I don't know. Maybe a bit too tall of an order. We'll have to see, though. Bomb is down. Fink Gaming absolutely have no horse in this race just yet. Swan just pushes straight through the smoke and gives up his life. At least that's some information given, but 60 has plenty of information for himself as well. Now knows there's no reason to commit over towards mid. He hears a bunch of sets of footsteps, and they're just going to get all the kills to match as well. And, I mean, that's kind of done and dusted. An anti-eco put out of the equation. Polar Ace South only get 1 for their trouble. And that's all they can even hope for. Fink Gaming are just absolutely rolling at the moment. Do not look even the slightest bit contested. Sure, that was an anti-eco from Polar Ace. It's not exactly the round you're going to be counting on them winning. But it doesn't exactly have the strongest vote of confidence from me either. Just by the setup that they were playing, if nothing else. I mean, I don't know what their final goal was with Swan just pushing out through the smoke mid there. I guess hindsight's 20/20. Again, I really feel like they probably know way more than I ever will. I'm just a caster, as I like to say. These are the ones who are playing in ESEA Advanced and are absolutely doing incredible in it. But from the third party, it does seem a little bit weird on what they were planning on doing with that CC. Polar Ace South, though, they aren't warded off of this one just yet. Are going to go ahead and force up guns yet again. And this time, the pace is brought straight to Fink Gaming here. Vec, stuck in the middle of the smoke, might give up his life. But for what? For a little bit of information. Vec barely stays alive. He's on 5 points of health, and he's not exactly looking healthy. This is the kind of map control that you most definitely want to see from Polar Ace South. Exactly. You know, text CSGO, it's like, text, it's probably the safest way before I try to be the backseat CSGO player here. These guys know way more than I do, so maybe they had some, 5-head reasoning for why they went for that push out mid. But it just doesn't make sense to me. Maybe I'm just missing out on something. Fink Gaming are missing out on a lot of that map control that they called theirs the last couple of rounds. This time, there's a lot of question marks everywhere. KMZ has to check every single angle because he has no idea what's clear and what's not. And He thought he cleared the angle, but Ara is ready, waiting, and able to hit the shots, and burning alive will be Vec. Brian 2K is unable to get the trade either, and it's a double kill for Ara. Actually, wait, no. Yeah, okay. It is a double kill for Ara. Figment actually managed to cause a little bit of confusion and pick up one of his own. Speaking of one of his own, Viz takes down Powers immediately, leaving it up to 60. 1-on-3, knows where one player will be, might have a heads-up idea on where the second would as well, but he's on borrowed time. Not much time to work with, and not much room to work with either. Finally, it's what the doctor ordered, and Polar Ace South can finally get number 2 on the board. It takes them a while. But it's definitely the kind of start that they need. Faint Gaming still have a little bit of money to play with thanks to all those rounds that they got bombed down. Well, they've been bogged down relatively heavily. That was a misnade from Ara, it seemed. But it doesn't matter. Faint Gaming just immediately bringing out B. Just so much confidence to push out onto the site. Powers immediately falls Swan, but waiting right beneath the car will be Ara. He actually drops a bomb planter. Wait a second now. Polar Ace South almost have themselves a perfect position, but just aren't able to win the fights to back up. And the issue is forced heavily. Faint Gaming don't just falter whatsoever. Get the bomb down yet again. The only time where Faint Gaming look to be pressured a bit is immediately put back into their favor as they're able to just storm out onto the B-bomb site. Even with Mac 10s, AKs. Get the bomb down, and again, we're back into the depths. 2 rounds still. It's not looking very promising. But they'll be perfectly content saving an AWP and an AK. We'll be able to buy up into this next one for sure. Tacitus can drop for Ara, no problem. So we'll be seeing M4s on the board. Tacitus, I should also mention, yet to find a kill this game. He's James Bond right now, 007. Actually see our first Krieg, it feels like, of the game coming through. I'm not sure if it's actually the first, but well, the fact that no CTs have brought it up or we haven't seen more Ts use it makes me think exactly that. Polar Ace South again are going to be going for some of their more aggressive map control. This time though, Faint Gaming won't falter. Tacitus is watching over towards Tetra, still unable to find his first. Figment smokes himself off. Are they actually not ready for him to be under Palace? How is he able to find a double? Just like that, he's given Polar Ace South an actual shot at this. I thought for sure they had the heads up. Weren't they not thinking, like, hey, who put out this Molotov that we put under Palace? I mean, I guess not. A 3-on-3 is definitely a little more palatable than the inevitable 5 versus 3 that they're going to be staring down the barrel of otherwise. And now they have a decent shot at this one. KMZ bunkering up in Palace can just stay alive for so long though, and time has really been a massive issue for Polar Ace. But they clear their angles, slowly pushing in. Viz leading the charge as the first man in. Flashes, smokes, and all the works come through, but Powers is not at all put off as he finds a double, and Swan has actually found a double of his own. Tries to go for the Olaf Meister kind of diffuse, but he's no Olaf Meister. What it really is at the end of the day is 10 rounds. Double digits on the board. Faint Gaming are just, I mean, geez, do I sound like a broken record yet? But they are not struggling on any of these rounds, it feels like. Polar Ace South, the most successful that they successful attempt that they had so far, rather, was a time where they just pushed up straight towards the top of mid, and that wasn't even the thing that I feel like necessarily won them. Going to be giving this double Palace sack a shot again, but another shot from KMZ again nets him another kill, and it's a slaughterfest on the A-bomb site. Day at the shooting range for Faint Gaming. Tucker GG says, Caster, what does Polar Ace South have to do to bring this back? Jesus, man. They need to win some gunfights. I'd say that's a big one. They're not winning many fights. Only when Faint Gaming are just not expecting a person to be there. I mean, I think back to when Polar Ace, I can't exactly remember who it was. I want to say it was Viz, was just stuck in a ladder room. managed to catch that 60 completely off guard. I mean, is it as simple as just taking different gunfights? Is it more so playing against Swan? Playing around Swan, I should say? Because Swan and Figma are both having incredible games so far. And speaking of which, Swan is actually able to find the first. Like, I'm not saying I'm an analyst, but I think it would be a good start for them just to stop this. Because, I mean, these are just some crazy fights that they cannot win. Also, using a little more utility would help. There we are. That's a shot that they want to see hit. AWP definitely seems to be Tacitus's favored weapon so far. And see, look, all you have to do is click their heads. It's working out perfectly so far as Polar Ace South are on the verge of getting their third and making this a little bit more workable. Tacitus on the board, and Polar Ace South might be back on the board for this one too. 1 on 5, Powers has to do it all. His team has had a good track record, but I think it might run out. His luck might run out, I should say. Well, rotations aren't quite through from Polar Ace. They only have 1 player, soon to be 2 dedicated. Tacitus with an AWP hits Powers right through the box. He's down to 11 HP, but he's on borrowed time here. Powers, no chance of it. Will eventually fall all the same, and it will be a bomb defuse, and it will be another round on the board for Polar Ace. So they get up to 3. It's a much-needed round for the CT side. Finally, some of the gunfights go in their favor. I mean, I know it's just kind of a forehead, just click their heads, but I mean, I think about a lot of the times where it's just, really, they just aren't able to win their fights. Even with an AWP, I feel like their AWP usage has been probably the most solid so far. The double sniper setup, I feel, is definitely something that can help them. Stacking 3 players over towards B. Interesting change. Swan? Okay, Swan, you have to jump on top of your teammates. Have to get up there. No matter. This is exactly what I'm kind of interested in. You see Figma is playing close ramp right now. Now, Fink Gaming have checked this out before and have been able to sneak on through, but Figman is sneaking on even more through. He's able to find 1. Not quite the double. I don't exactly know why KMZ didn't trade him out, but no matter. Still, man advantage favors the T side. And again, they can take this wherever they want. 60. Well, actually, I thought it was 60, but it was actually Beck. It's hard to read name tags through the fire and flames like that. But 60 doesn't care about any sort of misreading. Because really, Polar Ace South have a misreading on this situation. They're getting everything they want. 3-on-1, just like that. A very quick round coming through, and Tacitus will have to go up against 3. Now, 2 players are lit very considerably. 16 Powers are both within that one-shot potential of the USP. Whether he has the info on that is a whole other question, a whole other beast. Tacitus has not exactly had the best game, to say the very least. He's 1-10. He would most definitely have to make this 4-10. But 2-11 is what it is, really. Not bad, say the very least, from Fink Gaming. 12-3 on the T side of Mirage is pretty unbelievable. I don't think you exactly need a caster to say that, though. You can just really do the eye test to find out that Fink Gaming are just rolling on all cylinders at the moment. The few rounds that they gave up were, I mean, let's see, I'm trying to think. The very few rounds that they gave up, there was that really solid one where Powers needed to 1 versus 5. He got 1. It really just, like, Polar Ace South were taking a lot of these very advantageous duels. There hasn't been a lot of, like, crazy utility in play or anything of the sort. I feel like I've never seen a full execute actually come through from Feint. They're just able to prod and find a lot of these early picks every single time. However, B has been a pretty good place for them. For Feint Gaming. And we're seeing the dualies come out from Feint. Interesting. No kits in play. Can't tell if this is just kind of the confidence swag move or, you know, there's actually some 5-head technique on why they're bringing out the dualies. I've been seeing a lot more of it recently. What is this from Polar Ace? What are their plans over at mid? Maybe not die to KMZ. That would be a fantastic start for them. Unfortunately, Biz can't quite make it so. Same story with Aura. They both die to KMZ before it's finally traded out. Swan is still firing on all cylinders. That's not quite enough to keep it in their favor. Kills are just not working out at all for Polar Ace South. They're just unable to win anything. Like, exactly what I'm talking about. 60 just somehow stays alive for so long versus the Glocks. And there you have it. 13-3, just like that. This is domination right now. They don't look contested. Polar Ace South are having absolutely no luck wherever they try. But maybe there's some miraculous T-side setup to come here. Some incredible force-up round. A conga line of players storming out towards B. With Brian setting down a nice welcome mat. Pistols fully in play. Polar Ace South are really investing every last dollar to try to make this round work. I don't exactly have the highest hopes of it because Vec as well as Brian 2K are going to be ready, willing, and able to find all the frags that they need. And Massacre aside, Faint Gaming go up on 14. Just like that. An upgrade as well coming through from the CTs. Dropping 2 players, they can, you know, drop Mac 10s over or MP9s over and just get everything. I mean, what can you even say at this point? The T's have had nothing going in their favor. Like, I'd like the idea of having a contact play over towards B and just trying to get bombed down, but they were all dead by the time they went out the window. Swan. I think the only player to go positive so far this game. Never mind, Figment as well. He's also positive. And oh, Brian 2K might have an incredible round ready. It just sprays down 3. He's going to make it 4 with the dualies. Doesn't get the ace that he hopes for. But, I mean, hey, that's an anti-eco for you. Tacitus gets his 4th, though. A little bit of team damage coming through. Faint Gaming are having fun with it. But I can say it's probably the exact opposite. Polar Ace are just kind of hurting. 15-3, and another pause, possibly the final pause of this match coming through. Look, I know Faint Games were heavily overdogs heading into this match, but this is just, I don't know. Seems like nothing's working out. I mean, I just want to see what would happen if Polar Ace maybe try playing it a little slower, or they just try to full execute over towards A. Even if it was just like a default execute, you know, nothing crazy. Overdogs? Yeah, I think so. I've heard overdogs before. Overdogs, it's like kind of a joke on how there's underdogs. I've heard it before, at least. I feel like you've all heard this before, but really, Polar Ace South are, I mean, are they even lost? I just don't exactly know if they even can comprehend of what Faint Gaming are doing right now, because these past couple gimme rounds, you know, the anti-eco plus the initial pistol, I mean, those were just kind of inevitable. They were only bringing pistols to the gunfight. I just don't even understand. Like, they have 5 Kriegs. They're going to have to pull off an incredible comeback. But, I mean, hey, it's 5 Kriegs, just like Tucker says. It's probably the most possible right now because Kriegs are just unbelievably stupid. But this would have to be an incredibly stupid comeback. An incredibly wonderful comeback, I should say. But it would have to be the choke of a lifetime for Faint Gaming to give this up. Finally, the unpause comes through, and it might be the very last that Polar Ace South can call theirs this match. We're 19 rounds in, and Faint Gaming are already staring down the barrel of match point. Watching for pushes. Aura actually might have a good idea on what's to come. 60 decides not to push his luck, though, and mid-control is indeed taken from Polar Ace, excuse me. Player waiting. This lurking connector, though, could easily spoil the plans that Polar Ace have going, because they got off to a good start. They already took down Powers. Vec, though, ooh, although he's completely blinded, stays alive, and another refrag comes through from Figment. So Figment, already getting off to an incredible start, takes down 2 over at A, but now Polar East South can really take this wherever they want. Figment with a triple. I didn't expect him to actually find the 3K. But look at him delivering yet again. Vec still has yet to strike. Just hiding, camouflaging himself in towards Connector right now, and no venomous snake play for him. He's going to get exterminated. It's a 1-on-4. Thanks to the miracle of Figment. Finally, Polar Ace South will get another one together. Or at least they should. It would be insane if Brian somehow pulled this out. He's going for it. Doesn't want to save this M4, at least it seems like it. The entire team's feeling it right now. Why not give it a shot, Brian 2K? If you keep hitting shots like that, maybe you can make it work. He upgrades to a Krieg as well, so at the very least, if he saves this gun, that's a Krieg for Faint Gaming, and that is one scary weapon to put into a team that's up 15-3. So it'd be 15-4, but I mean, I think Brian 2K will be perfectly content just saving this. Oh, he's watching for Viz, though. He could actually get another kill, and that's exactly why the Krieg is scary. Immediately domed will be Viz. A triple kill to Brian 2K's name. A 3K from 2K. But another round at last. Polar Ace South can at least get something going here. They siphoned 3 guns into the hands of Faint Gaming. Or at least, you know, drop 3 players while trying to stay alive in this game. Brian 2K will save the Krieg and look to cause a bit of terror for Polar Ace South, and it comes in the form of a spray onto Tacitus. He doesn't even have a chance in this round, nor do Ara or Swan, nor do Polar Ace in general. Immediate 5 versus 2. There's still over a minute and a half to work with, and it's already a 5 versus 2. I mean, this is just looking dire. The only frag that goes away if Polar Ace is immediately traded out, and just like that, well over a minute left in play, and Figment has to do it against 4. He won't even find the first 6. He somehow gets away with that kill, and what can you even say there? That was just complete and utter domination from Faint Gaming and masterclass of how to click on some heads, really. It's rough, but Polar Ace South are not out of this one. There's still more in the season to go, and Polar Ace North will actually be taking on lewd anime swingers very, very soon. The next match coming up in about 10 minutes. Won't be too long. So, I mean, that's it for me for the time being. I'm just trying to think of any silver linings that I can take out of this one. There's not much. I mean, man, it's rough. I'll go ahead and try to contemplate it for the time being. Meanwhile, Polar Ace North will be taking on lewd anime swingers in just a couple of minutes. My name is Ito, and if you enjoyed the cast, feel free to drop a follow or Twitch Prime if that's really your thing. But if not, that's also cool. I just hope you guys have a good one. I'll see you guys very, very soon.